he got his PhD in financial marketing services. But my guest today is a man of many varieties, man of many sectors. He speaks on almost every issue of importance on the nation called Nigeria. Let me welcome Dr. Yinka Andrews on board Politics this Tuesday afternoon. Dr. Andrews, you are welcome.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very pleased to be here.
And we're also pleased to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Yes, variety of issues will be discussed today, as I said earlier. And we are going to seek Dr. Andrews' views on all these issues. And our listeners at home will also be part of the program, as the studio number will be thrown open when the time comes, and the number to that will still be our studio number 081-8777-5777. But let's start, Dr. Andrews, with issue which relatively has become a recurring decimal ever since Nigeria got our independence. It has continued to bother so many people. I know when you were in school it occurred, and presently many people are bearing the brunt of the ugly impasse between the federal government and the university teachers. And they say that when two elephants fight, it is the grass that bear the consequences. And it is what we are currently experiencing in Nigeria today because of the impasse between the federal government and members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. ASU, we are being on strike for the past 7 months. Many students are being at home doing nothing, and consistent appeal to both sides to sheath their sword and allow dialogue to prevail seemed not to have worked out. As a parent, as a concerned Nigeria, and as a watcher of political development in the country, looking at the prolonged strike between the Academic Staff Union, the university teachers in the country, which has paralyzed every task for the past 7 months. What is your take? How do you see it?
To start with, you said something I love. That when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer. I am concerned about the grass than the two elephants. Let's look at the first elephant, which I will call the federal government. On a more serious note, the chief culprit here is the federal government.
How?
Fine. Granted that this impasse did not start today. It started way back in the 90s. I mean, when it came out point of ball. I will divide the issue between ASU and federal government into two. One that has to do with facilities, moribund facilities, because that's the grounds of the lecturers, that they are not even paying attention to. Imagine using stove as Bunsen burner. When I was in the secondary school in our chemistry class, I'm talking about 1970s, early 70s, I was in secondary school, from 3, Form 4, Form 5. We were using actual burning burner with gas. Yes. Imagine the president of us saying that they are now using stove. Is a shame. That's just an example of the grounds of the ASU. The second part, that is facilities now, development of and making sure that they pay attention to what's happening on the technology and everything they want to use. That's moribund. The second aspect is their pay. So I'm now saying that between these two, when the chips are down, it's brought down to money. Whether you like, it's still money. Because if they want to change the facilities for modern ones, they will use money to buy it. If they want to pay, whether IPPIS or whatever you call it, it's still money. So I think federal government should have, especially the president, should have invited the headship of ASU. That this is my regime. You remember Jonathan did something like that too. In fact, they spoke overnight. Although it was not totally resolved. If it was totally resolved, we would not be where we are today. But at least he picked the gauntlet to make sure that something is solved. So I would have expected the president to invite them. That talk to me. At the end of the day, okay, this will cost, let's say, 10 trillion. I'm just picking a word. I can only release 3 trillion now. Please go and resume. Let's see where that goes. I'm sure they won't be here. That's on the part of federal government. I'm blaming them for that, for not holding the bull, for not taking initiative to solve the problem. On the part of ASU, I think ASU should realize that they cannot get everything they cannot get everything at once. It has to be done in piecemeal. So both sides has to shift a bit. That's the bottom line. But my real concern, like I said, is the grass. How do I mean? I would have expected the fight of ASU to attach to the third one I'm bringing, which I have not spoken about. For me, our educational system in Nigeria is too academic for my liking. Students will just write exam, regurgitate, and pass. Then they get their certification and move out. There's a big difference between certification and education. What we do here in Nigeria is certification, because people will do anything to get their certificate. I don't like that. How do I mean again? Let me explain further. I've said this several times. I hope somebody is listening now. When I was in the primary school in the 60s, I'm talking about 61, 62, 63. Do you know that in Lagos State, every Thursday was being set aside for us not to touch anything paper? We go to trade centers to learn what to do with the hand, which is called vocational education. Please, just imagine it. If this country had continued from 60s up till now, we would not be singing the same song. Let's give an example. They are on strike now, isn't it? Yeah. If they had learned what to do, perhaps as they were waiting, they will be making ends meet with what they must have learned in school, even while the school is off. Now, what do you have? They are milling the street. The feminine members among them are being impregnated. The boys are doing Yahoo. And you know, idle hand is devil's workshop. The point I'm saying is that if you are change our educational system to make it more vocational, more functional than just reading and passing, I am very serious about this. We have eggheads in the university. They should have added this to it. Perhaps it would have been better. So for me, I'm blaming both sides. They should think of these children. Now their life is being wasted. Somebody was saying, another person, a caller in another station, I was saying they should fight this to the last, even if you take 10 years. Hello. That means a girl that is 15 now will have been 25 before this. It's arrant nonsense. Federal government should invite ASU now and let ASU do. ASU should not say that they want everything done now. No, it's not possible.
Dr. Andrews, the federal government has been on the negotiation table with ASU all this while.
Yes.
It seems the two have refused to yield, to shift.
That is the point I'm making. They just have to shift. They cannot waste the life. Okay, if you want to look for a job now, banks and other corporate bodies will be asking for a student of about, let's say, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 years old. Now, if you now waste 10 years of their life, where would they get work? And that's why I said that it should not be you finish school, you are looking for a job. You should be a job creator yourself. That's what I call education. You know, we have formal education, we have informal education, we have non-formal education. You don't have to be educated to succeed in life. I know 3 industrialists in this Osogbo. You cannot tell me they've gone to invite or they are PhD holders or even BSc holders. I won't mention names here. So the point I'm trying to say is that they were able to do that from their sitting down to think of what they could do, not going to the 4 walls of the school. So to succeed in life, I repeat, you don't have to be a PhD holder.
Yeah, well, if you look at the effort of government in the past to resolve this issue, a committee was set up to renegotiate the 2009 agreement.
Yeah.
And the committee has submitted the report to the federal government during this regime, and the government is yet to work on the agreement reached between the ASU and the committee. With this as background information, do you think government is ready, for negotiation?
There's a very common adage in Yoruba land. You don't wake up somebody that is pretending to be asleep. You wake up somebody that is asleep. It's like government is pretending. They cannot tell us they don't know all these things as well as that they are not aware of it. So that's why I say I should not join them. There are some people in the north that they call themselves Boko Haram. You must have heard of that. It means they don't. About 615 schools are closed in the north. So when ASU is not joining, it's me we are now joining them. We will make them happy. They will not be smiling. We told you there will be no school. So that's why I feel that both ASU and government should sit down and think of the life of these children. And to make matters worse, these children are now calling for, they said they will close airports. They are forgetting that they are increasing the elongation of their stay at home. They should not join ASU or federal government. They should be shouting that, please call off. We want to go back to school. Not to, there are some people, when I was in school, I don't know if it is still there now, though I'm still a lecturer, it's not as pronounced as used before. You will see that when some students are not prepared for exam, during the exam, they will call aluta. There will be, and those are unserious students. I hope the serious one will not join the unserious one. They are perpetually aluta students. They are not ready to read in school.
The one we usually call the NFA.
NFA, they are there.
No,
they don't have, but some of them do have. So they should not allow those who are not serious to disturb the serious ones. So for me, it should be called off like yesterday. Both sides I'm referring. I'm not taking sides there.
Taking the ASU to the National Industrial Court, which has ordered the university teachers back to their classroom. To many people like Chief Babalola, it was a wrong step on the part of government to have taken ASU to court on this. Better to resolve and negotiate than go to the court of law. I agree with Chief Babalola.
I agree with that. There is a statement in Yoruba land. If we take me to court, we cannot come back from court and be friends again. You understand that? Although it is an industrial court, that's the right place to take this issue. You see that it took federal government time. They didn't start going to court from day one. They took that when they tried to appeal, they decided to go to court. And going to court has to do with this no work, no pay issue. It's entrenched. It's not just introduced by federal. It's been there. They just want to explore and exploit that loophole. Maybe ASU is serious. ASU is not ready to board. So for me, I agree with Afe Barola. It's a mistake because I see it as a way to prolong this strike the more. Because court processes, especially in Nigeria, do not stop in a jiffy. It will take time. So the earlier the both of them sit down, because at the end of the day they will just sit down to talk. So why not do it now for the sake of these children? I have a child and I'm affected seriously, although I've gotten her something to do, but that does not tally with her going to school. How many parents can get their worst water? Some are even out of home now. They don't know where they are. It's a shame and it's very disgraceful.
Well, we hope something will be done to resolve the issue. We are still on the program Politics from 104.5 FM. It's a weekly news and current affairs program of the OSBC radio. Last week, the governor of Ondo State and chairman of Southwest Governors Forum, Rotimi Akeredolu, was in the news. During the week, he said he will attempt to harm Amatekun Corps in Ondo State, based on a viral video which showed similar security outfits in Katsina armed with sophisticated weapons to fight insecurity in Katsina State. He said if the federal government could approve the use of sophisticated weapons for similar security outfits in Katsina State, which happens to be the home state of Mr. President, there is nothing stopping other states, especially the Southwest State and the Amatekun Corps, from being harmed, from being approved to use sophisticated weapons to fight insecurity in the Southwest.
I want to believe that it is not true. Honest. Because if it is true, then this country is already divided. Although, as people say, it's divided already, but how would you say that some operatives should be carrying gun in Katsina, but the whole of Southwest should not? I don't want to believe it's true. If it is true, then something has to be done about it. But I don't think anybody has come out to say categorically that it is true. What has Katsina government said about this? I've not heard it.
It has been a conspiracy of silence from the state government. So
I will now advise Akeredolu to go. Thank God he belongs to APC, isn't it? APC is a ruling party. Let him invite some other governor from South for them to visit Aso Rock and let them confirm to him that it is true. Because he should not do it before then. Because if he does it, then it will become something else. It becomes an act of direct attack on federal government, and it can cause another. You don't create a problem by trying to solve one. I am advising they can go. They are free. Not like I say, it's APC to APC. Let them get in touch with the Aso Rock that they want to visit. Let it be confirmed, because it could be rumor, as far as I'm concerned. But if it is true, that's on one. On the other side, this is a warning to we Yorubas. You see, we should take care of our own state than thinking of other one. The main cause of this is what we refer to as, you see, there is this exclusive list, that is separation of powers. Yes, exclusive, concurrent, and residual. They will tell you that as they speak now, the insecurity of the nation rests on the federal government. The federal government determines, like the police now, determines what kind of gun to carry. Unless they give approval, Amotekun cannot. But imagine if we are on true federalism, in which case each state determines what happens to it. If you go to US, do you know that from a state A to state B, they have different policemen, even with different uniforms, with different laws. So what are we talking about? If you commit a sin in one state and you're able to escape to another state, you are on your own. You are free until Interpol or federal police is brought in. So I am advocating that in the next dispensation, I've been saying this, we should address this issue of true federalism and fiscal federalism. Because another serious problem is this fiscal federalism. We're able to have our laws on, or our country on our own at the First Republic, when every region sit atop its God-given resources. You determine what to do with it. Except we go back to that time, we'll continue to have this kind of problem.
A situation of one country, two systems.
Can you imagine? That's why I said we should shine our eyes in Yoruba land.
Well, there is this report that the Southwest government intend to approach the Supreme Court to determine, the situation. At least give it a final determination.
I disagree. I would prefer political situation, because if you go to Supreme Court, what if Supreme Court says so be it? Then that means we'll be forced to carry gun in a way that is not on an approval way, which will cause more problem. Other regions, Southeast now will now carry gun. So I don't want that. So the court issue, I don't want to advocate for that. Let us use political means. I repeat, it is APC government. So
well, do you think the federal government is doing enough to fight security challenges which we currently, faces in the country in the face of
yes,
these uncertainties,
yes,
moves here and there by government, which are not in tandem with expectations of many people, most especially stakeholders in the country called Nigeria.
Erstwhile, I would have said that our military personnel are lethargic about insecurity. Unfortunately, they were killing them. So they say that soldiers are revolting, that we are not paid well. But do you know that the trajectory has changed now? Now they are beginning to decimate all these insurgents, and they are killing them a lot. The Tucano, we were told that UN said we should know it. We are beginning to use it.
The Super Tucano.
The Super Tucano, we are beginning to use it to the extent that one insurgent leader was complaining beside that they should beg federal government to stop firing them, that they are killing them too much. I said, so if you don't keep quiet there, if you can hear me. Now, things are changing. I don't know why. The president was saying that by December, the whole thing will be gone. I cannot put my finger on that. But as we speak now, they are seriously firing these people. And that's the way to go. Not minding collateral damages. I don't care if there will be.
The adage that we are to elephant fight, the grass
is coming up again.
It's coming up. While those who could afford bulletproof vehicles and vests are getting it, most especially ahead of political development in the country in 2023. Those of us who could not afford bulletproof cars and vests, we are the one bearing the effect of this situation.
I don't know about you. Me, I have bulletproof. God is my bulletproof. But that's on the lighter note. If you are a politician in this country and you have the means, please go and buy it. I cannot advise anybody who could afford it not to buy. You saw what happened to this guy. If not for the bulletproof, he would have been killed. Recall also what happened to Murtala Muhammad. He believed in God. Although I believe in God too. He didn't use he said nothing will happen. Something happened. So I will never blame any politician who has the means not to buy, because it's when you have life that you can be in position. That's on the one side. On the other side, you said something. What about those of us who could not afford? I think we should not go to the river if you don't want to get wet. If you want to play politics, you better look for where to protect yourself. Then on the other side too, if you are good in quote, please, because what I'm trying to say, if you are good, you have no fear of anything. If you resonate with the people love you, they will even protect you. But if you are living like an average politician in Nigeria, whereby you only know yourself and your family, you don't care, once you get to office, you don't care, then you need to have concern about what could happen to you. So I will advise that those who have means could buy it, but those who do not, and they know that they cannot afford to buy, they should do good in quote. They should be very good to the immediate environment so that they can be protected.
But nobody is insulated from, the attack.
That's why I said if you can afford it, please go and buy it. I will never sit here and say
majority
don't
of
buy
us cannot afford a bulletproof vest, talk less of vehicle.
Are you a politician?
I'm not.
I'm referring to politicians. No. You are just going on your who knows you. But once you join politics, especially if you are sitting atop a particular position that you are responsible for some people, you need to.
It is not only politicians that are bearing the effect now. You are not. You cannot sleep with your two eyes closed. I'm very sure
of that. Course.
And you cannot move freely on the road.
That's why I said
without hesitation that something unexpected could happen.
We are not talking about general insecurity. This is affecting all of us. If you go that route, then I will tell you that charity begins at home. Let's start from our street. I'm not talking about ward now. Let's start from our street to protect. We have this landlord association. I don't know your place. In my place, it's already happening seriously. We don't sleep overnight. We employ some young guys. While some are asleep, some will be awake. So that because self-protection is the best form of security. You protect yourself. You don't, not until you start blowing whistle, start calling the police. Do something within your immediate enclave first before you fight federal government. Some people say federal government has to do everything. No. Charity should begin from home.
We are still on the program Politics, and I guess it's still Dr. Yinka Andrews, PhD holder in the financial marketing services. Am I right?
Correct.
Yes, and is a public affairs
analyst
as well. Well, let's look at the economy and the effect of the current slogan, which is permeating the country. Japa is another slogan, a new slogan that is permeating Nigeria currently. Japa in Yoruba terminology means run away
from
if you
country.
have the opportunity of running away from the country. The country, to many people, is currently emerged in crunchy and excruciating economic situation, and people are looking for ways to leave the country in droves. Through that, we are losing our best to other countries of the world. Brain drain is now the thing.
That's it.
Medical personnel, doctors, scientists, bankers are now leaving the country in droves. What do you think are the causes and the possible effect of these on Nigeria economic development?
Let's look at the causes. First, the causes are that the country is tight as far as economy is concerned. You will realize that the value of our currency is pummeling against the price. The value of currency and price are inversely proportional. That is, if the price of goods are going up, the value of the currency to buy those goods will be going down. They cannot move together. And then we also call it inflationary trend. So when you talk about classical economists, they believe that if you did nothing to the economy, it will bring itself back to normal. Then the Keynesian economy are saying that it is the government's duty to make sure that things are done right. That's why I call public sector economy. That is, government runs the economy. But if you look at monetary economists, they believe there should be private sector. Now, between these three, you see, when we have economic problem, which is what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, and how to make the best of the resources available, every country has this problem. But each country now decides to choose way of solving these problems. Some choose capitalism, which means that it is the private sector that should provide goods and services. Yes. Then some provide socialism. That shows no, capitalism is private sector, socialism government. Now, but in Nigeria we chose both. A little to the right from the left, mixed economy. We chose both. So, and why we did that? It means that private sector can run, government can run. But where private sector is running and is getting out of hand, there should be government intervention. So, but as we are today, nothing seems to be working. Because if you look at the managers of our economy, you talk about two persons. You talk about the CBN governor, who is in charge of monetary policy. Monetary policy takes care of the amount of money in circulation. I mean, we are talking about inflation now. It is to watch the amount of money in circulation. If it is too much, he mops. If it is too little, he pushes out. The fiscal policy is done by the minister, that is Minister of Finance. These two are supposed to work in tandem so that we get the best result. But you now see that today, you realize that they are working at cross purposes. That's one of the greatest problems we have in our economy. That's on one side. In any country, there is this tripod stand. You talk about food, health, and education. It's like what we call stool in those days, three-legged stool. Once one leg is broken, it's going to affect the rest. These are the reasons why our youths are going out. Because food is even bastardized by insecurity. People go to farm to do farming. Before you know it, they are killed there. They also pay tax. So it's, and once supply of food drops, price will rise. So that's one problem with our food industry. I will bring solution to that, which I call marketing board. Then the other one is health facilities. To even get a card in the government hospital now, you know how much you will buy. You don't even have maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000. The person who has gone to them does not even have that. He has not even eaten. So then the third one is education. Now tell me which one are we getting right out of these three? So you cannot blame people who are jetting out. That's the reason why you ask the reason. Those are the reasons. But must you jet out? I will say no. You see, watch something. You are a journalist. You see that when some people japa and they now behave untowards in the country they are, they bring them back home. Watch what they will for. They will kiss the ground. Ah, thank God I'm back home. Why did you leave what you call home before? So that's why I don't agree. Let us stay here and see what we can do. I'm not saying they must do, but if you feel, because if you cannot stay in the kitchen, if you cannot bear the heat, don't stay in the kitchen. But you can bear it, because I believe things will change. I was saying that somewhere yesterday, that this country will be better. I am very optimistic. I've not lost hope with this country. The fact that the situation it is as it is now cannot be like that forever. It will change. What about those who have gone? How would now they come back? When to say, recall Ghana. Ghanaians were coming here to do boy. We call them Sobata, if you remember that. Yeah. When the heat was there. But now, things have changed. You understand? And we should stop knocking down our country by mentioning words that are not even good to hear in the hearing, that this country is bad. I believe that it's a passing phase. With time, it will pass.
Well, listener at home, we have the opportunity of being part of the program through our studio number, which remains 081 8777 5777 081 8777 5777. And I guess I still Dr. Yinka Andrews. Let me take this first call. Hello, good afternoon. Your name, please.
Good afternoon.
Your name, please.
I am Taiwo from Village.
Yeah, your question, your comment.
I want to thank Jeff. I just want to comment that the federal government should please do something very, very fast. This is our tomorrow. These children are our tomorrow. And when you are coming out to campaign again, I don't know what you want to use to campaign to us. These lecturers are part of us. These teachers are part of us. And this education of a thing, even apart from education, tell me another sector. If I went to a war front, he came back on that war front, he said he has killed this soldiers there or this warrior. Then you are now saying, maybe it's not true. He now said on 6 chickens. What else do you want? Hey, what apart from education, which elder sector, our federal government done very well, for God's sake, in this country. God bless you people there.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks. Thanks for your comment. Dr. Andrews, looking at this Japa of a slogan that has become the in thing today, what do you think will be the effect if our best heads are exported to other countries at the detriment of the development of this nation?
We will be the loser for it, because like doctors now, federal government spend humongous amount of money to train our doctors. Imagine after training them, they now go to another country. Not due to their cost, but because federal government is not paying attention to them. How much they pay them? So for me, if you're a young doctor and you have wherewithal or where the means to go, please do go. But remember, east or west, home still remain the best. I will continue to say that this country will be better. It's not good now. I'm not saying it's okay now, but it will get better. I'm trying to say that people should be optimistic about it. It's not good to be pessimist in this case. We don't have any other country but Nigeria.
Hello, good afternoon. You missed the call. Yeah, the hope. You have sounded a note of hope that things will be better. But the question is when? Let me take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
I feel like from Oshogo.
Yeah, your comment.
It is very, very shameful for this government. For the past 7 months, government cannot negotiate, we cannot reconcile with country.
Yes.
The House of Assembly, Federal House of Assembly, Senate, the useless too, I'm sorry, for that House of Assembly and the rest, they cannot do anything. This government has failed this nation woefully. Our so-called children also, we cannot settle that on. Like they are fighting for political appointment. It's very, very shameful. People should not vote for the government again. They don't want them to campaign for us. They should not campaign us again. Before they came into power, they promised heaven and earth. They have not done a single thing. Very, very proud of them. They should cover their eyes. They should cover the league has to cover their face. Very, very shameful. This is not the government. The worst government I've ever seen in my entire life.
Government is doing.
Yes, they are trying their best, but we are not. It's just that we are not feeling it. They are trying their best, but I agree with the last caller. But I still believe that it cannot. When you are beating a drum and it's sounding too high, it means it will burst. The current situation we have will burst. I will get it better.
Well, Dr. Andrews, before we leave the studio because our time is fast spent, let's look at. Let's project into 2023 general election. The campaign will officially kick off tomorrow, as stipulated by the Electoral Act and the umpire, Independent National Electoral Commission, the electoral umpire in Nigeria. What should be the focus of the political parties and their candidates as they kick off the campaigns tomorrow?
I think whatever will come up should be issue-based. I want to hear from any of the candidates to tell me what he would do about education. I just mentioned one now. What used to happen in the 60s? Every Thursday set aside for. I was looking for which of them will revisit that so that our children will come up with something on hand. 2, I want somebody that will tell us about health facilities. How are we going to make sure that our doctors don't japa? That facilities are there. Then the third one, food industry. Who will put a stop to these people killing farmers? Those are the 3 I am interested in. Then general economy. What are we going to do about foreign exchange? Why will Naira not exchange for 700 and something Naira per dollar? How are we going to have one single form of foreign exchange? That is parallel market and the official market. I think we should go for official. We should stop going. I'm a banker. I know how this come about. We call it, when you go to the bank to access foreign exchange, they will give it to people who sell it for these houses in the Sabo market. That's what is responsible. They should stop that. CBN should see whatever it can do to punish the errors among them after moral situation will not work. Then I'm looking for somebody that will tell us his roadmap to move this country forward, especially as it has to do with this insecurity aspect. Then finally, corruption. I've said it, whoever will come to government in the next dispensation should be ready to die. Because if you are not ready, don't come on board. Because there are some people who are ready to make sure that the status quo of bad issues continues. So anybody that will allow that to go should not come in. You should be ready to fight the people who are not making things work in Nigeria.
I think we can still take 1 or 2 more calls before quitting the studio on politics today, and the studio number still remains 08187775777. 08187775777. Dr. Andrews, looking at the economy generally, it seems we have been running the economy monolithically.
Yes.
Too much reliance on crude oil.
That's why we have been talking about diversification. In fact, let me tell you one single silver bullet. I hope
before then, let me take this call. Hello, good afternoon. Your name, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name, please.
I'm speaking from Sobo.
Yeah, your comment, please.
Yeah. I really appreciate the guest. Please, I want the council and the federal government to come around and let us
Hello? What is still talking about?
So yes, one single silver bullet is this: whoever is coming on board should do it. It doesn't matter what it takes. It's called fiscal federalism. I'm sure you know what that means. Yeah. That let each state, whatever God has given that state, let that state sit atop it.
Resource control
And decide what to do with it, as it used to be. We got it right there when we were using that. Why did we leave that? So we should revisit that. Let us state sit atop what goes and then decide what to pay to the center. That will solve the problem of agitation. There will be no Biafra again. There will be no Yoruba nation again. It will stop. Because once we have what we want, what are we fighting for? So anybody who will come on board should think about that. It is possible.
On a final note, George Andrews, before you leave you in the studio on the program, what will be your advice to the generality of the public as we approach the 2023 general election?
My general advice to the people is that we should believe in our country. As we say in Yoruba, the scrotum of the ram is just flipping back and forth. It will not come down. Fela also said it is the beauty of it that makes a woman to touch her breast when she runs. It's not that the breast will fall. I am saying this, that with all this that is happening, this phase will pass. We shall get it better one day. But we hope it will be this next immediate dispensation that will change. I've reeled out what to expect from people. Then the last part I want to tell our people is that we should follow the line of government. It's where government will say, let us do this, we'll move against government. Let me give you one quick example. In Lagos State, government realized that people don't obey traffic laws. And if they have driven in Lagos, will realize that Lagos is the bedrock of people driving anyhow they like. They now brought a law that says that your vehicle will be impounded, you will pay a fine. If you cannot pay within the stipulated, they will auction the vehicle. Do you know some people move against it? What do we want in this country? We say government is not doing the right thing. Government now does the right thing. We say government is doing too much. In fact, a political party went to counter that law. What's happening? These are the things I'm appealing to our people. When government got it right, we should be on the side of government. But if government goes wrong, we should move against the government for doing wrong thing.
Well, I want to appreciate Dr. Yinka Andrews, a financial marketing services expert, for finding time to be on the program Politics this afternoon. Dr. Yinka Andrews is also a public affairs analyst. We appreciate your presence on the program.
Anytime.
And the entire studio crew here, the announcer and the audio officer. Not forgetting the producer of the program, Motorayo Ayegbayo, and the executive producer of the program, Abimbola Babatode. My name is Adeyemi Abodere. Politics will return same time, same station next week. We want to appreciate your presence and good afternoon.